A lot of people are about to get ready to graduate from high school, and to you folks, I'd just like to say, congratulations. Welcome to the real world. And let me be the first to tell you that your school didn't prepare you for what you're about to endure. Just letting you know now. Maybe you've watched your parents struggle. Maybe you watched your parents play the game up to this point. Maybe you've had to play the game by having to get a job at 16 in order to take care of yourself and maybe some siblings. But going into this real war, everything that they taught you in high school is mostly to prepare you to be a good little slave, to be a good worker, okay? To be a good yes man and to be a good voter and taxpayer. That is it. The things that they taught you in school, the skills that they taught you in school are basic at best. Now, if you go to college to get a degree for something specific, maybe a career that's specific, that is future focused, but who knows what that is right now with the rise of AI and automation and everything. But if you go to school, to college, if you're getting out of high school and you go to school for something that is future focused, maybe, just maybe, you can stave off this late stage capitalism that have everybody in this death grip right now, from rich and poor alike. And what I mean, school will sit there and tell you is as long as you work hard, as long as you get good grades, as long as you come to class, as long as you enroll in the right college, your future is almost guaranteed. And as a millennial, I want to tell you that that is the first scam that this system sells you. Okay, when I went to school, and I'm pretty sure it's the same way now, they'll let you know that if you don't get into a college, if you don't go to college, if you don't further your education in whatever way, they don't tell you to go for a specific future-proof job like I just mentioned. They just tell you just to go to school, just to get a piece of paper, right? That is the first scam to enter you into a system of debt. You understand? So many people that I've known, that I've dated, have had this financial debt that they've been paying off since they've been in high school, and we're in our 40s, okay? Why? Because they went to school to get a piece of paper for a job that they're not even doing right now. Some of these people went to school for business. Some of these schools went for office administration. They don't work in no goddamn office, and they never started a business. People that are professors in school seldom start businesses themselves because those who can't teach a lot of the times. But they'll tell you how to start a business, right? You even in some of the business schools in high school, they have no idea with this future moving as fast and as it is towards us. They don't know what tomorrow brings, so they don't know how to prepare you for tomorrow. Let's take my generation. Go way back. I graduated in 2001. And before 2001, one of the things that we heard, my entire generation, is that you will not always have a calculator on you. You will not always have a computer on you to think for you. Well, they had no idea that cell phones would become the thing that they were. Because you got to take in mind, when I was in school, cell phones were like these big, bulky things. They didn't have these touch screens, wasn't even a thing yet, okay? So these teachers of mine couldn't have foreseen that these devices would supplant even the PC, the computer, and that everybody would have one and everybody would be engaged, that you would always have a calculator to do the math for you. Hell, they couldn't foresee that, 20 years later, you would have AI doing the thinking for you. That's where we are now. We have you can ask AI anything, and it can pretty much build you up a business plan and all kind of stuff, right? The teachers couldn't have foreseen that. And your teachers right now, if you're a senior or a junior getting out of school, I'm not telling you not to listen to them. I'm not telling you not to get your diploma and get that piece of paper and get out of here, because sometimes you need that in order to navigate in this system. But what they can't prepare you for is the world of tomorrow, because even the people that are living in the world right now don't know what the world of tomorrow is. The people that are building the world of tomorrow don't know what the world of tomorrow is looking like. So your teachers damn sure can't have any idea of what the world of tomorrow is, but they're trying their best to prepare you for it. Reading, writing, arithmetic, that is what school is good for. That is what public school is good for, at least. If you were going to one of these private schools that specifically cater your education to be in a higher class, the upper class, the fucking elite class, then I'm not talking to you. Obviously, y'all are getting a better education than the slave class that is being taught to freaking just be slaves. I don't know if y'all saw that viral video going around of this boy going around with this piece of paper trying to get these kids to read the sentence on the piece of paper. And these kids are seniors and juniors and no, not freshmen. What's the other one? The 10th grade. They can't read the paper. All high school, they can't comprehend what's on that paper, right? Because that's what they should be in school to do, just basic fucking comprehension skills. But they go to school and they're inundated with not only the curriculum, but all of the other distractions that come along with going to school, the social aspect of it. And if online is any indication of what the social climate looks like in high school and stuff for these kids right now, I can only imagine how hard it is to concentrate and focus on the task at hand and be prepared for a future that is not guaranteed to y'all. You know, you got people in their 30s that are coming to the conclusion that shit, I'm never going to own a house. I'm never going to have a family. You know, this is in their 30s. This is barely a generation removed from the generation that's coming out of school now. So how is this generation supposed to have hope for tomorrow? How are they supposed to prepare for tomorrow when tomorrow is uncertain? You know, like realistically speaking, they're building data centers everywhere where they don't need to have like people man them, right? Taken from the climate, and in some municipalities, they're actually taking the power from the citizens in order to power these data centers. Okay, like thousands of citizens, hundreds of thousands of citizens are going to lose power. I believe in rural Utah, somewhere, some large area in Utah, because they need to divert some of the power to a data center. What does this all mean? All these data centers coming up, and you guys are coming out of school, and there's not even no jobs for y'all in these data centers that all these billionaires and this government is invested in. The world of tomorrow that y'all are coming up in, it's not guaranteed. So why am I making this video? I'm making this video to tell you that you have to forge your future for yourself. Anything that they're telling you in school, any degree, isn't going to guarantee that you're going to have this freedom. The only way to have freedom in life is to play the game. And what I mean by play the game is to do the step by step. The goal ain't the goal, right? Yeah, you have a goal. Let's say, for instance, you want to make all this money. You do want this lush lifestyle, despite the fact that everything is so hard to obtain in this world right now, right? But you want that for yourself, right? But you have to put yourself in the mindset of just getting it. That's it. Nothing else should matter outside of just getting it. But when you do that, like, make sure that the journey is the most important part of that aspect of what you're going for, because the goal is just the goal. Once you get to the goal, it is what it is, but it's the journey that makes you the person that you are. If you're coming from nothing and you're trying to build something, that journey is what forges you into who you are. And I want you to understand that while you're in it, you have to absorb it and take it in, because that's what creates you. That's what I'm doing right now. I've been poor all my life. I'm tired of being poor. At some point, I don't want to be poor no more. But I have to realize that in all these 40-something years of me being poor, it has built the person that I am today. The journey has been more important than the destination. Yeah, the destination is good. I can get rich tomorrow. Great, fantastic. I would like to get rich tomorrow. But if I did, if they just came to me, I wouldn't have the perspective on life that I have now, because I wouldn't have gone through this journey to get here. You understand? And you have to, and it builds experience. So regardless of whatever comes, even if the future isn't, you don't have a future-proof job, you're able to adjust to the world of tomorrow to be able to survive and at least find some level of happiness in that world. I may not be the richest person in the world, but I'm happier than most people I know. I'm able to find joy throughout my day, regardless of whatever else I'm going through financially, whatever, no matter what I'm going through socially. I can be here by myself all the time, but I can still entertain myself. I can still find comfort in just the little life I have. All I need is a freaking sketchbook and a goddamn pen, and I can find happiness somewhere, right? And that's something that I have to break down to myself to just that. To be like, okay, that'll be enough for me to be happy. If that's all I had in the world, great, that's all I had. But what if I didn't even have that? What can I do? You know, then I found like other things. I have pressure points on my body that I touch to relieve stress. I know this sounds weird, but I do. Like, anyway, you have to be the conductor of your life. You have to guide it on this track. Everything that they teach you in school and what's gonna come out of school when you get out of school, they don't know. Because some of these teachers, their lives ain't even together. Especially the ones that's out here sleeping with all these kids. But y'all see that's going on big time, you know. But y'all are being taught how to be slaves. I'm just gonna let you know. Your government will tax your check. We were talking to the young people at my job the other day, and she was like, I got my check the other day, and I don't understand why they took half of my check. This is a young girl. This girl is she's 20. She's about to be 21 pretty soon. I don't understand why they took half my check. I worked this many hours last week, and my check said 500 something, but I only got 2 something back. What the fuck? Like single, it's probably how you file, it's probably how you claim yourself, all that, and the government's just gonna rob you. They gonna dick you down. And especially if you claiming claiming tips and stuff like that, they gonna dick you down. And she's just blown away by the tax situation here. Yeah, they're going to tax you so that they can send bombs over to Iran. They're going to tax you so they can, fund Kevin O'Leary's data center in Utah. They're gonna tax you until the freaking cows come home to support individuals coming into this country, right, and getting opportunities that you are not eligible for, but they're eligible because they come from a, you know, a third world place, right? They're going to tax you in order to take care of those people. I hate to tell you, sweetheart, that's how it works. Taxation without representation is where we are. And we're almost at 40 something percent of taxing on every goddamn thing. That I said, like with my job, right? The customer comes in there, okay? The customer comes in there. They pay the restaurant for the food, right? They pay the restaurant for the food, right? So when they pay for that food on that bill, they're going to have to pay a tax to the government, just like you do with anything here in this country, right? Because they bought that food from the restaurant. So they're being taxed on paying the food. But let's say they leave me a tip. Let's say on their card, and most of the time they do. They're going to leave me a tip on their card, right? Let's say, oh my, your service was amazing. We're going to tax you. We're going to tip you $10. Do you know that the government takes for that by the time I'm done with the day? When everything is all said and done, the government's going to take for that. Why does the government get to tax people twice? So that you can tax these people on the food, and now you're going to tax them because they want to give me some gratuity. But then they say, oh, there's no tax on tips. That's if you can file. I don't file. I refuse to fucking file. Why the fuck would I file? I'm not going to go into that because I don't want this video going into that territory. But you young people are bred and educated and coming out of school with the diploma. And yeah, you should be proud that you got through it. But that diploma is just to certify that you are a good slave. That's it. I got my diploma too. And what am I? I've been a good slave since I got out of high school. Job after job after job. They know I'm going to come in. They know I'm going to clock in. They know I'm going to show up. They know I'm going to give the best freaking customer service. They know I'm not going to steal from them. They know I'm not going to take out the goddamn register. They know this. Why? Because at some point, oh, that piece of paper is certified that he can endure 12 years of being graded and degraded and put through this bull crap that ain't really educating him on anything that's going to help him in the world of tomorrow. Right? That's all that showed. That's all my diploma showed. That's all that anything. Even when you get a degree to a certain degree, it's not be. That's why y'all meet so many trash ass professionals. You be like, how did this fucking person become a doctor? How did this person become a lawyer when they're this ass? Well, because they just did the base. They did the bare minimum to get that piece of paper. And as long as they got that piece of paper to certify that they're qualified, they don't have to be good at it. They got the piece of paper, right? The piece of paper is what's going to protect them in the courts. That's what matters. You know what I'm saying? There have been better doctors that ain't never went to school. What was it like that young boy that was out in Florida that was running a practice like for years and nobody had no complaints about it until they was like, this is a child running this practice. And then years later he gets out of jail and he continues to run the practice and people liked his services. Nigga never went to school. He was just a doctor. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just telling you guys to prepare for this world. They have not set you down and prepared you for this world. A lot of times they're selling y'all on a fairy tale. Get out of school, go to college, get a job. They don't even know what the job market's going to look like in a couple years. They don't even know if it's going to be robots doing every fucking thing in a couple years. They don't even know if it's AI going to be doing everything in a couple years. But they're telling you, as long as you get this piece of paper, you're going to be good to go. As long as you enroll in this college, you're going to be good to go. I'm telling you, that's not fucking true all the time. It's not. You know how many people I work with that have fucking degrees right now that are educated, that fucking work in the same restaurant that I do, right? And I get better tips than them because I have more charisma. I'm being funny. But yeah, man, just work on forging your future. And in that journey, enjoy that journey. That journey is going to have some bumps. It's going to have some ups. It's going to have some downs. It's going to have some ins. It's going to have some outs. And one of the things that I'm going to use my platform to promote, because a lot of people don't promote this no more. And I feel that it's important, even though, you know, like I've had it's been to the detriment of a lot of things in my life. I do recommend as a young person finding a partner. I'm not saying that y'all have to have kids. I'm not saying that y'all have to necessarily fucking, but find somebody that you can commit yourself to and they're willing to commit to you. That's the oldest thing, right? That's how our families lasted all these centuries. It didn't have nothing to do with no education and no fucking college and no government, none of that. Our families lasted for as long as they did for all of these centuries and got us to where we are because a man loved on a woman. And at some point in the past, though, that man that loved on that woman, they stayed together and they made that foundation work to get us to where we are now. Your grandfather, your grandma, you know, and I don't know, my grandma had like all these different like husbands, whatever. But regardless, she had a lot of different kids that came up. But my dad's mom and my mama Ida, they were together for all these freaking decades, and they had 8 kids, and that produced all these grandkids and all this other stuff. And they found fortune in each other. They owned multiple properties, right? They had a good life. They went to church every Sunday. I'm not saying you have to do all that, but that is a goal too. Find somebody that's on your level. You know, like coming out of high school, everybody's on the same level. Coming out at being a young adult, y'all on the same level despite what social media is saying, right? Meet you a young girl, meet you a young man that's good. They got their head on, they got a goal, that do want to do something, that is aware of what's going on in the world and want to forge something with you. Build a tomorrow together, because together y'all are stronger, right? And it's not like all of this, especially as a man, when you get older and you do establish yourself and you start to build, there's this paranoia that, oh, this person is coming in at the finish line to take what I built. No, y'all built together, because she saw you through it, and you know that she's there for you. At least she loves you on that level, because she saw your struggle to get through it. I'm not saying that it's gonna automatically get you there, because obviously it didn't get there for me. Yes, I started a family out of high school, but I'm gonna tell you something, and I have no regrets about starting a family. With as much heartache that came out of my family, and as much heartache as it came out of me and Cecilia, that's my kid's mom, splitting up, those were the best years of my fucking life. Being a dad, being a husband, being a daddy in a house, watching my kids grow, being there with her, whether we struggled or not, was the best fucking years of my life. A lot of people have nostalgia for their childhood. My nostalgia comes from the days of my kids being little and growing up, and us doing that and trying to make it work. It's worth it. Now, I'm not saying it like, obviously it didn't work, right? So it's like, it's funny with that type of advice coming from me. But I'm just, when I take my feelings out of it, when I take just like, oh, I'm so mad that it didn't work, or I'm mad that, or I'm upset with the way that it went down. When I take it out of it and I think about the best years of my life, those were the best years of my life. And I wouldn't trade those motherfucking years for nothing. I wouldn't trade them for nothing. Even with the heartache, even with the child support, even with everything, it was worth it to me. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? In that time, yes, I've earned freaking certificates. I've learned things. I've been a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? I've had all types of bitches and all types of fucking fantasies fulfilled. But nothing has topped that. Nothing has topped being a family. Nothing has topped the security of feeling like, okay, we gonna do this together. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, even though it didn't pan out like that, that was worth it. Okay. And I'm telling you, young people, because y'all coming up in a world where they're telling y'all just to be alone and be selfish and fuck the other gender and just casual sex this, and that shit don't lead nowhere. It doesn't. It really doesn't. The best course of action is to find somebody that y'all can build with. This world is hard, and it's going to get harder. And it's a lot easier for y'all to face the world of tomorrow together than it is to face it alone. But you got to find somebody that has like their head on in a similar direction that you do, that has like a similar goal to just try to go for the fucking prettiest thing out there just because she's the prettiest thing. She may be a fucking airhead, vapid as all hell, right? Nothing up there. Don't go for that. Go for somebody that can understand what's going on. Same thing with you ladies. Don't go for just the nigga that got the looks and the car and the money and all that other stuff. What does he see for tomorrow? Because all that stuff goes away. You know what I'm saying? The world changes. Does he have a head on his shoulder to be able to adjust to the world of tomorrow? Do you have your head on to be able to adjust to the world of tomorrow? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I just had to say this. I see a lot of people about to get out of school. Y'all are coming into this real world. And this real world is hard. Me coming out of high school, I made a lot of fucking mistakes. My kids not being one of them being joining the military. I went right. We had 9/11. I graduated in 2001, and obviously later that year, 9/11 happened, and with all of the ideological subversion that fell over us, I just immediately went into the military and was like, you know what? This is bullshit, especially when they talk about sending us to Iraq when that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. Because you're young, you're impulsive, you make a lot of rash decisions. And even when you think you're in love sometimes you may not be in love. Don't just bust in the first fucking thing just because you feel like you in love. Because like even, like there was some times where you know, some women that tried to put some pregnancy scares on me and some bullshit, and I knew goddamn well them bitches wasn't pregnant, but you know, being a young man and you just out here dicking down anything, don't do that. Wrap it up if you can be having your fun. But like I say, fuck all that having your fun shit. You can have your fun, but meet somebody that's gonna have their fun with you and willing to dedicate the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their life with you. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the best course of action for success. And they're not gonna teach you that shit in school. They're gonna teach you to go and get you a student loan. They're gonna teach you to go and get on somebody's clock. They're gonna teach you nothing about family, nothing about community, nothing about any of that. They're gonna just teach you how to be a fucking cog in this machine. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch y'all next time. Bye bye.